Today I am doing the 2020-21 and 2022's Premier League predictions here on this video. Let's start the Premier League predictions here today, as I'm going to be working from the bottom of the table and I'm going to work my way up to the top of the table, and who out of the 20 teams will finish in which position in the Premier League by May next year. And I'm going to do that starting from right now on teams, and I'm going to say the reasons as well why I put them in that position, where I predicted them as well. So let's start from the bottom. I'm going to work my way up to the top, as I just said. So at the bottom of the table of the Premier League, I'm going to go for Norwich City. The reason why I think Norwich will finish bottom of the league, I feel that when they last were in the Premier League 2 seasons ago, they weren't great. They weren't obviously, they've lost loads of games. I just think things going to happen again. They're a yo-yo club. They're a yo-yo club who keeps them going up and down the league every single time, be in the Premier League and then going down to the Championship. And I reckon it's still going to happen, despite them signing Billy Gilmore on loan from Chelsea, despite them buying Rasika from Werder Bremen, and also they brought in another player in as well from Nice. I can't remember his name, but they have brought some additions in Norwich City. I do admire their team. What they've actually done. They're trying to be a sustainable Premier League team, and I just believe that personally ain't going to work out for them. I reckon it's going to be the exact same thing. They go straight back down again. I think they're going to do another yo-yo season again, from going up from last season and going back down. So I apologise, Norwich City fans, but you're going to go down in the 2020-21 and 22 season. In 19th place, I'm going to go for a bit of a surprise actually, because they are a long-term Premier League team, but are quite a few years now. I'm going to go for Crystal Palace to finish 19th in the Premier League. The reason why I reckon Crystal Palace will finish 19th in the Premier League is because I believe that, they've lost quite a few players. They've lost Andres Townsend. He's gone to Everton. They've lost another player, of course, or the contract expired, Patrick Van Aanholt. He's now going to Fenerbahce. And they've lost quite a few players because their contracts were expired and that. I know they extended Joel Ward's contract at Palace, but as they've now got a new manager as well, obviously we've got to remember that as well. Obviously Roy Hodgson left in May because obviously the contract expired, and obviously he didn't want to continue as manager for Palace. And then they've got now an Arsenal legend, Patrick Vieira. I do admire him as a player, very good player when I was younger watching him. But as a manager, I just think that it's going to be difficult for him. I think it'll be difficult for him to adjust managing in the Premier League. I feel that when he was at Nice and New York City, I feel that those teams were very, very one of the bigger teams in the league. And I feel that as well, the Premier League's a lot more a bigger level than the Ligue 1 and also the MLS when he last managed Nice and New York City. He might prove me wrong. They might actually, they could even survive like they've done throughout the last 8 seasons in the Premier League. They might have another consecutive season in the Premier League. But I do believe they will go down. I know they got Wilfried Zaha as their key player in their team, but he can't do it on his own, and I feel that they are going to lose momentum, I reckon, and I reckon they're going to get relegated in 19th place. Sorry, Crystal Palace. In 18th place of the Premier League to fulfil the relegation places, I'm going to go for Burnley. I do always think that Burnley are one of those teams. Alright, they've got a good manager, Sean Dyche, who always keeps them in the Premier League, but I think they're going to go one step down further from they were when they came 17th in the Premier League last season. I reckon they're going to drop to 18th. I just think that they haven't brought in any players in. Don't surprise me enough, I do believe. I don't believe they've got, they haven't got players they can sign to really, surprise me in a way, to try and make my prediction as them finishing higher up the table. But I just think that, they are a good team. Burnley, don't get me wrong, they are a very defensive team, a very quick team at the back, but I do believe that they might have another, season they're going to fight for relegation again, but I reckon it's going to be a lot worse than they were before. I think they're going to fulfil 18th place, and I apologise to Burnley, but I think you're going to go down. So 18th Burnley. In 17th place of the Premier League, to just survive to another season in the Premier League, I'm going to go for Brentford. Well, I know that Brentford, of course, won the playoffs. They beat Swansea 2-0 at Wembley 2 months ago. I do believe that, they've got, Ivan Toney scoring loads of goals for Brentford. They've got some very okay players. They've got some okay players in their team. But I do think they're going to surprise people. I know a lot of people predicting Brentford to go down, straight back down, But I just think that they are going to just survive, I think, for some reason. And plus, I've got connections at Brentford, as my granddad supports Brentford Football Club, and I really hope they do well. But at the same time, I feel that they will survive, and I think they're going to finish just about survive at 17th place. In 16th place, I'm going to go for Brighton Hove Albion. Well, Brighton, of course, they are an okay team, under Graham Potter. I feel that they're always one of those teams who, they are in the relegation battle every time. They always flirt around relegation since they first joined the Premier League 4 years ago. I do believe they will survive again. I just think that, they've got Lallana, they've got Welbeck signed, extended new contract at Brighton. They've brought in a player from Salzburg as well, I believe. And Graham Potter, I do rate the guy in a way. He is a very good manager, Graham Potter. And I know that, Brighton, of course, I reckon they will survive. It's just, I feel that they're going to really flirt around that area. They might just drop into 18th, 17th place around that position, but I think 16th place they're going to finish. I don't really see Brighton always, push themselves further than 15th place. They always finish around 15th, 16th, 17th. But I reckon for another year, Brighton will be in the Premier League, and I reckon they'll finish 16th in the Premier League, and they'll be firmly 16th. So 16th Brighton. In 15th place, I'm going to go for Watford to finish 15th in the Premier League. I know they got promoted back to the Premier League after a spell in the Championship. They did finish second last year. They have actually not brought many players in defensively. I'm a bit amazed about that. I know they sold Craig Dawson permanently to West Ham. They've got Sarr, a good, decent player, I think, for Watford. I think for they've got a new player they brought in from Bruges. I was really happy for them to have him. He scored 2 goals against Real Madrid a few years back in the Champions League, named called Emmanuel Dennis. And I think he will probably do something right, I think, for Watford. And I do believe they will survive, I think, this time around. I know they always like to sack managers like Xisco. Menounos is the current manager at Watford, I believe. But I do feel that this season they're going to sack a manager. I reckon they'll sack him. I reckon they're going to still survive because I just feel that Watford team is the exact same thing as they were when they were relegated. And before that as well, of Deeney in the team, you've got Ben Foster in the team. They've got okay players, and I think that 15th place I'm going to go for Watford. In 14th place, it's going to surprise a lot of people actually why I put this team in 14th place, but I'm going to go for Wolves. I have looked at their team, they have got a very good team when they were promoted, of course, 3 years ago. Obviously having Ruben Neves, you've got Raul Jimenez up front, they've got, some very good players as well. Got obviously kind of Cody in defence, they got Dendoncker as well for Wolves as well. And they've got an okay team they've got, and I do believe that they will obviously survive because they've still got a strong, good team despite on, Nuno Espirito Santo departing Wolves to go join Spurs. I do think they're going to probably do a bit not great, I think. I mean, they got a new manager called Bruno Lage. He was manager at Benfica, only won the Portuguese Cup. Didn't feel he was a popular coach, I think, to join Wolves, I thought they might have done better than that. But at the same time, I feel that they've got a team that they can survive, and plus they've got some very good players in their team, and they're going to finish 14th. Bit of a surprise, because I think a lot of people probably expect me to put Wolves a bit up like 11th or 10th in the league, but I do believe that I think that 14th place will be Wolves' position going into this season. So 14th place Wolves. In 13th place in the Premier League, I'm going to go for Newcastle United. The reason why I think Newcastle finished 13th in the Premier League is because every year they always finish around 12th, 13th all the time. I think they do. I do believe they're going to flirt around relegation. I reckon they're going to really struggle some point in the season. I think. I don't know when it's going to be, because we don't know, of course. But I do believe Newcastle will be around that relegation battle. I think they will perhaps struggle in some occasions, I think. But I do believe they've got a very good team. I feel that they have got a Premier League team, despite the ownership of Mike Ashley and the fans don't like him and everything like that. I do think Newcastle will survive for another season. They've got Maximin up front. They've got Almiron. They've got Shelvey. They've got Lascelles at the back. They've got some okay Premier League stable players they've got to keep them up anyways. They were looking at trying to get Joe Willock actually once more. He did well last season when we loaned him out to Newcastle. Arsenal did, and he did very, very well. He did for Newcastle, and they were actually saying they were thinking about even getting him back to Newcastle. I know it's not in this video yet, it's not permanently yet, but it looked like he could go to Newcastle for another loan move. And if he does go to Newcastle, I think they're going to really boost themselves up a level. And also Callum Wilson as well, scoring goals for Newcastle. I think that they've got a real proper Premier League team. I know a lot of fans don't really like the owner and everything like that, but they've got a very good team. And I do like Newcastle in a way, in their stadium, their history and everything like that. But I do think 13th place, I'm going to go for Newcastle United this season in this prediction. In 12th place, it's going to surprise a lot of people here, but I'm going to go for West Ham United. I know West Ham had a very good phenomenal season last year, came 6th in the Premier League. They got playing Europa League football on Thursday nights. I do believe they're going to get distracted from the occasion in the Europa League. I reckon they're going to really perform badly in the Premier League. They could maybe do a lot worse, maybe fight for relegation, you just never know. But at the same time, I do think 12th place will be West Ham this season. They've got, if they can keep Declan Rice, if he doesn't go to Chelsea, there were rumours of him going to Chelsea this season. If they can keep him, if they can, if they can get Lingard, of course, another loan maybe from Man U, they could even do a lot better. But I feel that West Ham, with the Europa League, the squad's not as big and better probably compared to the other top 6 sides. But I do think that they are going to struggle a bit. Obviously not relegated. West Ham are better enough not to go down this season. But at the same time, I reckon they're going to have not great, but I think 12th place will be West Ham, I think, this season. In the 11th place of the Premier League, I'm going to go for Southampton. Well, Southampton, of course, they look like they might get rid of Danny Ings, one of their crucial strikers up front. If he stays at Southampton, I feel that they could, finish 11th. They are an okay team. They had a very poor end of the season, let's say. They had a very good start when they were top of the Premier League near Christmas. They were last year, and they dropped down to 15th. But I do believe that they will finish 11th place. I feel that they've got a very okay team. If they lose Danny Ings, there was a lot of talks of him leaving, but I do believe that if he stays and if they can get some more additions in, I do think 11th place will be for Southampton. I do believe that with Ralph Hasenhüttl, he's a very good coach. He knows how to, put them in that position, from 11th place, maybe a bit down, maybe like 13th, 14th. But at the same time, I think that I'm going to put them in 11th place. That's my confidence there. 11th place, Southampton. In 10th place of the Premier League, I'm going to go for Aston Villa. Well, it looks like Jack Grealish will stay at Villa, of course. There were a lot of links and everything of him going to Man City. But I do believe that he wants to stay at Villa, and that's a good thing for the Villa fans, because I feel that Villa will probably push a little bit better than they were last season. I think 11th position, that was good for them to be, of course, but I think they'll do one bit better by finishing 10th in the Premier League. And if they can buy some players in, I think they have done that. I'm not even sure what players they've signed, but with the additions they probably have got, Villa, I do feel that they're going to finish 10th in the league, and I don't think I won't be surprised if they actually finish, of course, 6th or 7th in the Premier League, because they're actually an okay team. Even when they were played in last season, when they won against Liverpool 7-2, and they had a very good start this season. Okay, they had a little bit of a patch maybe in some positions in the months, of course, in maybe January and February, but I do think they're going to finish 10th in the league, mid-table. In ninth place of the Premier League, I'm going to go for Everton. Well, I feel that now they've got a new manager now. Obviously, Carlo Ancelotti ditched Everton to go to Real Madrid. They got Rafa Benitez. A lot of controversially, he moved to Everton. He obviously did very successfully well at Liverpool when he won the Champions League in 2005. But I do believe that they will finish ninth in the table. They could finish a bit higher, depending on, how they play this season. But I feel that they're going to do a little bit better than they were last season. But I think ninth place, I'm going to go for Everton. They have actually got Townsend now. They've signed, of course, from Palace. They are looking at buying more players, and plus they got Jordan Pickford in goal as well. Making some good saves. I reckon he'll probably be the best goalkeeper in the league. I think he'll probably be on clean sheets and that. And I do think they will obviously lose games and finish away from the top six. I don't think they'll break into it. But I do believe that they will finish ninth in the league. So I'm going to go for Everton ninth in the league. I could be wrong. We'll have to wait and see. It all can go both ways. It can go with Everton. But I'm going to go ninth place, Everton. In 8th place of the Premier League, I'm going to go for Leeds United. Well, Leeds had a very good season returning back to the Premier League after that 16 years of hurt, not being in the top flight. Under Bielsa, they play very good football. They play a very attractive football. They play. And I do believe they'll do one position better from they were last season, from 9th place. I reckon they'll finish 8th in the league. I do believe they could break into the Europa League positions. I'm not surprised if they do. They are an okay team, and I don't think they're going to do like a Sheffield United did. When Sheffield had a very good year, they came 9th in the Premier League, and then the season after that, they got relegated from a second season syndrome. I don't think that will happen to Leeds. I just feel that Leeds have got a good manager. They've got a very good equipped team as well to really compete as well. And when they were in the Championship a few years back, when they were top of the league, they played like a Premier League team. And I feel that the exact same thing's going to happen this season, but they could do one step better and try and break into the Europa League positions. But I think they might miss out on that by finishing 8th of the table, Leeds United. In 7th place, I don't want to be too biased about this, but I'm going to go for Tottenham to finish 7th in the Premier League. Okay, they might have brought in, a new manager in, finally, about time, Nuno Espirito Santon. But at the same time, I feel they could, with Harry Kane, leaving to go to Man City, I believe. Losing him will be a big problem for Spurs going into this season. If they can get like a replacement in, like a top name, a big name going to Tottenham, I don't think that's going to happen. But if it does happen, then they'll probably finish a bit higher than 7th place. I'll put them more higher if they brought in more of a better striker if Kane goes. If Kane stays, I just feel they could move a bit higher at the table, but I feel for now, I think 7th place as they were last season. I think nothing changed for Spurs. I reckon they'll finish 7th in the league. They'll get another Europa Conference League position for next season. And, they've got a good manager from Wolves, Nuno Espirito Santon. I'll rate the Spurs for getting him. But I just do think that, try and get into the top 4 will probably be a bit harder, because I just feel like there's a lot of quality, of course, in the top 4, as it happened last season, as a matter of fact. And I feel that it's going to be difficult for them to try and break in there. If they can get some very good players in, more top players in, and more well-known players in as well, then they could finish a bit high. If they can keep Kane, then they could, finish perhaps more higher maybe. But I'm going to go 7th position Spurs, and I'm sorry about that, but I reckon 7th will be Tottenham. I don't want to be too biased about this. I said this before about Spurs, but I reckon Arsenal will finish 6th in the Premier League. As we've got no European football now, of course, that will help us perhaps may do a bit better than we last finished in 8th place last season, even the year before that, as when the pandemic happened and everything. I do feel that, I reckon we'll do a lot better. We are looking at buying Ben White from Brighton. There was a lot of talks of another player might be going. Maddison looked like he could come to Arsenal. You never say never. There could be talks of him, he could leave Leicester to join Arsenal. And plus, they need to try and get out of 8th position, because I know Mikel Arteta's been there for 3 seasons now. And if he don't get Arsenal better than 8th position, then there's going to be a big problem, I reckon, for Arteta going into this season. I know Arteta, he's been there, he's won the FA Cup there and in. I don't think they're going to do better than finishing up above 6th. I just feel that, we're going to come up short. We're going to struggle, I reckon, some point of the season. I reckon we'll probably I think Arsenal will probably be, you know, struggling around Christmas, maybe losing games and etc. Or maybe like, you know, 5-game loss in a row perhaps, like we were last season, the year before that under Unai Emery when he was sacked. I think that could happen, I believe. I don't feel any confidence in Arsenal's team, but I think we'll do a bit better than we were last season, just because of, you know, how we got no European football. That's out of our hands. We can just worry about pushing ourselves up to 6th place. I think that's going to happen. So I'm going to go for 6th, Arsenal. Not being biased to Tottenham fans, I feel that we could be above them this season, but we ain't going to do great ourselves. So I've got to face it as well. So I reckon 6th place, I'm going to go for Arsenal. In 5th place, I'm going to go for Leicester City to finish 5th in the Premier League. You know, I reckon they'll still miss out on Champions League, unfortunately. It's been, you know, 2 seasons they would finish in 5th place. Never do better than that. But I do like Leicester in a way. You know, they won the FA Cup this season. 5 years ago, they won the Premier League. The underdogs to do it in a way. And I feel that Leicester, of course, will finish in 5th place. You know, Brendan Rodgers, I do rate the guy. You know, when he was at Liverpool, I thought, oh, he's not that great. You know, he's not that good manager at Liverpool. You know, he got sacked, and he's more of an average manager. Only did well finishing 2nd because of Luis Suarez, of course, those few years ago when they came 2nd in the league. But you know, I do realise that Brendan Rodgers is a good coach. He's trying to make Leicester into a top 4 team. But I do feel that, again, they're going to miss out on 4th place. They're going to finish in 5th place in the Premier League. So I'm going to go for 5th place, Leicester. In 4th place in the Premier League predictions, to get into the top 4, I reckon, for this season, I reckon Manchester United will finish 4th in the league. And I actually feel fantastic for them to, you know, buying Sancho from Borussia Dortmund, and they're looking at buying Varane as well from Real Madrid. But I do feel that they've got a good team. They've got Bruno Fernandes as well. You know, they've got Marcus Rashford. They've got Greenwood. They've got some okay players. You know, do great, of course, this season. I do think they're going to have some patches during the season. They're going to probably end up losing a couple of games. But I reckon they'll probably bounce back after that and winning games straight. I don't think they're going to win the Premier League trophy. I think it's a bit too early to say for them. I think that they are trying to build into a team to win the Premier League. I do feel that for Man United, but I don't think they're going to probably win the league this season. I think Man City's got more of a better depth squad. I do believe that Liverpool have got more of a better team than Man U still. And I think Chelsea under Tuchel as well, you know, I will go back to that video a bit later, of course, when I predict them. But about Man United, of course, here right now, I just feel that with Man U, I just think that they have got, you know, they're trying to, you know, develop a team, make a team, win the league with it perhaps in a few years' time. But I feel that they'll finish 4th position, I think. So I'm going to go 4th Man United. In 3rd place, I'm going to go for Liverpool to finish 3rd in the Premier League. It's a bit of a surprise, really. I think a lot of people probably expect me to put them up to 2nd place or top of the league. But I do think, you know, I feel 3rd position will be more appropriate. They had a very poor, you know, 5-6 games last season. They lost to Fulham, lost to Brighton, lost to Burnley. But I do feel that, forget about the past in a second. I just think that Liverpool at the moment, I don't know who they're going to buy. I don't know. They brought in a player from Leipzig. They brought in a defender, and they brought in, and I do believe that they might, you know, still compete, do well, finish 3rd in the table. But I don't think they're going to finish a bit higher than that for some reason. I just got a feeling that Liverpool finishing 3rd place this season. They are a good side. Don't get me wrong. Klopp's made them into a very good team, a very strong, high pressing team since he joined in 2015. But I just feel that for Liverpool, they're going to finish 3rd in the league. So Liverpool, 3rd in the table for them. This is going to be very intense. It's going to be, who do I predict to finish 2nd? And who do I predict to finish 1st in the league? It's between Chelsea or Man City, but I'm going to go for, very easily, Chelsea to finish 2nd in the league. I'm very impressed of Chelsea, to be honest with you. You know, with Thomas Tuchel came in January, Lampard left. You know, he won them the Champions League. He was a very good winning run he had. A very smooth, long winning run they had throughout that 5 months when he joined Chelsea. I just think that Chelsea have got a very good squad. And I think Chelsea looking at buying Haaland from Borussia Dortmund. If it does happen, then they are going to really rock the league. I just think that they're still... I don't feel that they're too able to win the league just yet. I think they probably will do under Tuchel. I think next season, I do believe. I think they're going to really be at it against Man City, but I reckon they're going to miss out. And I reckon they'll finish second in the Premier League. So Chelsea, second place, no hard feelings, second place. I reckon you'll do great next season, and hopefully you might win the league there. But I'm going to go second place, Chelsea, and that's what I've put in that position. In first place, I'm going to go for, obviously, of course, we all probably know who I'm talking about, Manchester City, to win the league again. And the reason why I put Man City in first place is because they've got a very good team, a very good depth team. You know, Guardiola's a coach that he only missed out in his managerial career 3 seasons in the 3 clubs he managed. Barcelona, Bayern Munich, he won all the Bundesliga trophies actually, in fact. But I think it was 3 seasons as manager he missed out on winning the league title. But he always wins the Premier League. He always wins a title, a league title, everywhere he goes. But you know, they might lose Sergio Aguero to Barcelona. It's a bit of a shame they lost him. I really like Aguero at Man City, but I do think that, you know, without Aguero, I think they're still good without him. So I feel that, you know, they've got a very good team. They've got Gabriel Jesus, they've got Raheem Sterling, a very good Euros he had as well in his belt, of course. They've got Phil Foden, of course, might do great, of course, this coming season. And I do think that, you know, they have got a very good team, and defensively they've got a very good team at the back. And I feel that the whole team itself are too good, and I reckon they're going to win the league once again in a row. 2020, 21 and 22 Premier League champions. I'm going to go for Manchester City. And that'll be that for the predictions, of course, here today. Just please leave a like and a comment, and yeah, and subscribe for more. And if you like more of these videos, and subscribe. Peace out.
Another player before the Villarreal match. Upamecano will probably cost